Oh, so mellow.
The bladder is a muscular sac located above and behind the pelvic bone that has two tubes called the ureters. These tubes connect the bladder to the kidneys. A thin surface layer called the urothelium lines the inside of the bladder, followed by loose connective tissue. This connective tissue is called lamina propria. Covering the outside of the bladder are muscles. The bladder is capable of expanding to accommodate about 400 to 600 milliliters. Though muscles expand to allow voluntary urination, like all muscles, the bladder slowly deteriorates over time, causing many complex breakdowns in the body often not focused on. The bladder's main function is to get rid of bacteria and toxins produced and ingested by the body. The way this works is that the kidneys produce urine in three precisely regulated processes: filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. The first step, filtration, transfers solutable components such as waste and water into the glomerulus. The glomerulus is a small intertwined group of capillaries inside the kidney that filter the blood to make urine. The second step, reabsorption, takes all the necessary things that keeps the body in homeostasis, like ions in water, and absorbs them into the blood. The third step, secretion, involves the transfer of bacteria and toxins from the filtration into the collecting ducts. This basically amounts to the essential nutrients being reabsorbed and only leaving behind liquid. The liquid then travels down ureters into the bladder, which acts as a holding sac for urine until it travels out of the body via the urethra. The urethra is the duct by which urine is conveyed out of the body from the bladder. This is one of the most important parts of the bladder and is the quickest to get infected. Now, here is the regular cycle of urine. The most common infection of the bladder would be the UTI, or urinary tract infection. The urinary tract infection is mostly contracted by women due to the shortened length of the urethra that allows bacteria back into the body more easily. The most common ways to contract a urinary tract infection would be the act of coitus or improper wiping. In some extreme cases, it can lead to pyelonephritis, a kidney infection. This is not usually a hazard to your health if treated promptly. Urinary tract infections, if not treated promptly, can lead to sepsis or blood poisoning. Because the kidneys can filter blood, the likelihood of the infection spreading into the bloodstream is high. Once in the bloodstream, it can circulate throughout the body to your vital organs, and once it is in your vital organs, it can cause long-term damage to the body. The bladder also has many other complications. Incontinence is the predominant complication caused by many other things, but mostly by repeated long-term stress to the bladder and age. Incontinence is the lack of bladder control or voluntary urination. Many women contract stress incontinence. This is when pressure on the abdomen leads to stress on the bladder and causes incontinence. This can be caused by activities like coughing or jumping. Here's what it looks like.
Phew!
Overall, the bladder can have many problems that can be avoided. Ways to strengthen the bladder and to prevent incontinence would be to urinate more frequently to prevent overstretching. This also helps get rid of bacteria that can linger in the bladder and lessen the risk of UTIs. It is also recommended to do Kegel exercises. These exercises work the muscles of your pelvic floor, in other words, the muscles that stop you from urinating. During these exercises, you will tighten and release these muscles, but never during urination. This will improve your health and lessen risk in the long run.
Me mellow yellow, quite rightly. They call me mellow yellow.